Hello, everyone. Welcome to Burn the Ship. I'm Branson, and this is Carson. We're the hosts for the day. We have a very special guest who is coming in here to tell us about going all in on her business and maybe helping you get to that point where you can go all in on your business. So, without further ado, I'd like to let my guest introduce herself.
Well, hello. And yes, I'm all in on pretty much everything I do. In fact, it's hard to find balance sometimes. My name's Cheryle Hays. My company is Empower Strategist, and I have the best job in the entire world because my business is all about inspiring, but more importantly, equipping leaders and teams to succeed. So I work with talent optimization. I work on business strategy, leadership decisions, especially from the mid-level up because a lot of times culture's not what flows downhill.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, with that being said, what is your ideal client that you like to look for? I heard you say mid to high. What is that? What does that portray for you whenever you're looking for clients?
Well, I have two main branches in my business, and it solves the same problem, but one's from a personal standpoint. And so I work with individuals or small teams anywhere within a company to address very specific issues and help them move together more fluidly and increase innovation and solve whatever problems they're trying to solve more. On the other side, I work with businesses overall through talent optimization to look at what's happening that is preventing that company from being as successful as possible. That means we look at the people, we look at the leadership, we can look at strategy, because it's got to be a merger of all those within the right culture. And once we can get all that aligned, then things start moving forward and businesses are better positioned to scale.
Absolutely. Now, with that being said, what would be a good example of some of these businesses you worked with before?
All right. Usually they're around 20 employees. That's a little bit small, usually 50 and up. And they are making money, but they're not increasing the bottom line so much. Or they're
Okay.
trying to be innovative in an established industry, and they're struggling on figuring out how do we make this happen. And as with everybody now that things are tightening up and we're dealing with so many issues such as failed DEI initiatives, the stress of AI on everyday life and coming into the workplace, a hybrid work environment, then if you look at trends, employee engagement has only moved up a couple of ticks, and that was after a significant downturn the prior part of the year, and it's relatively flat since 2000. And when our people aren't engaged, that costs up to 34% of an individual salary. And so there's
Wow.
huge benefits for understanding what it means to have an engaged team and letting them be inspired by the message and the vision of the company.
Absolutely. Um, and hearing about all that is amazing, and what the opportunities, and what you offer. How did you get to this point? What kind of led you to this point? The whole path. How did you end up here?
Oh gosh. Okay. I've got to share this. So my very first true leadership experience, I was in the tech field. So I have a very strong tech background.
Awesome.
I was promoted over my boss, and I was the one that had to go back to our site location in Dallas and tell him, I am now your boss, and all of my peers now, reported to me. And I had no leadership experience, no even basic training of skills, much less traits of a good leader, because that's something we don't teach. I had no coaching, no counseling, no preparation, and not much luck in being a leader. I succeeded, but it was one of those wins that you really don't like to acknowledge because you saw so how much you could have done after the fact. So
Mm-hmm.
that was where I developed a love of the potential of leadership and recognized it's more than a title. But then as I moved on, I started um, moved up in that company, but then I've led a very renaissance life. And when I started mentoring small businesses, actually developed my own program, it's been a full circle, but I came back and started understanding that the leadership traits needed to run a department or to run a company how that was missing from an entrepreneurial standpoint. And I understand that leadership that gets you to point A, say to become post revenue, is not the same leadership skills that's going to scale. And if it's not the same leadership skills, that means that it's also not the same personal leadership skills and traits that your team has. And that's what started the journey with my company, is to understand the ramifications of leadership on individuals, but on our personal self. So I have a 3 framework model that starts with personal leadership, moves into team leadership, get those in sync, and then you can get the production done in performance leadership.
Absolutely. Well, after hearing that, and basically how you got to the point you're at, what is something that you've found that you've really been successful at over time?
I think I'm most successful at listening and uncovering what's not being said. And one of the issues, especially with startup companies or people who have been in business so long, is we lose focus. We say verbally it's all about our customer, but our actions and our discovery questions don't lend itself to that. And we tend to go by tried and true. Oh, if you say this, they really mean X over here, and my product will solve it. And we forget
Absolutely.
to be curious.
Yeah.
And find out a little bit more. And so that allows me to go in always with the idea of, I don't know your problem. I'm not going to make any assumptions because I know what that word means. I'm going to listen and dig. And then if I find something, I'm going to maybe pull on it a little bit and try to uncover the root cause of what's going on in somebody's life.
Now, with that being said, what was something that you struggled with when starting your business? What was a couple obstacles that you hit along the way that you can kind of help our audience kind of get past those obstacles without even having to hit them themselves, because they've heard your podcast, they've heard your story, and they understand the struggles that you went through and how you was able to get around them?
Well, I wish I could say I was totally around them, but part of the struggle of being an entrepreneur is dealing with your own self. And for me, even though I can teach it, doing it is something a little bit different. So daily, I have a routine established that allows me to get in focus and do the most important things for the day, and make sure that those important things are driving my business and driving the solutions for my clients forward. When you're a small, and I'm very, very small business, I just launched from my nonprofit last year and said, okay, I've just got the group I'm working with, they're just not ready for everything I bring to the table. It's been a long time since I've been in this environment where I'm back to being a startup again. And it is fascinating how easy it is to stay involved in motion, but not get much action and traction out of it. There's so much. And so I had to go back and understand my value and put a dollar amount with that hourly and say, okay, what do I need to delegate to somebody else at a lower pay scale and let go of, so that I can put my time and my effort and my knowledge into where it needs to be. And I find that across the board, whether it's with a startup or whether it's with a company who's been in business for 8 years, if that owner is the one that started it and still there, there's sometimes, or with their team members who have been there, if they're not challenged the right way, they become complacent and they become intermeshed in the process instead of the goal of the process. The motion of getting all these other little things out there without following through on it.
Gotcha. Now, to touch back, you said that you was around the Dallas area. That's Texas, correct?
Yes, it is. Yes.
So is that the geographical area that you're looking to reach, or is your area open to the world or to the country, or where are you trying to find your business to help grow it?
The wonderful thing about leadership and strategy is that it's worldwide. I just did a talk in South Africa when I was there.
Oh, that's awesome.
The goal, obviously, if I'm going to be working with a company, then it needs to be someplace I can get to and come in and work, but I'm not there daily. I don't sit on the team except for a period of a time. And then we follow up with technology, which is both a blessing and a curse. Then like this, we can get together via Zoom. We can do use other things so that we can make sure that we're in an alignment. So I'm not limited geographically, and the license I hold with Predictive Index is the data analytic piece I bring to the table. That is not, doesn't constrain me as well. Certainly my leadership knowledge and the programs that I've developed will go anywhere people need it, and find that the way I help them solve the problem and how I communicate with them fits them. Because there are a lot of people that do what I do, that nobody does it the way I do it, or
Right. Absolutely.
nobody has what I have that I bring to the table, and that may just be the right fit that somebody needs.
That's a great attribute to have. Not all businesses get to have that wide open space to go out and secure more businesses or more clients like you have. So that's a great attribute to have. Now, if people wanted to get in contact with you, what would be the best way to contact you?
Well, LinkedIn, like most business people, we live on LinkedIn, and my name hopefully is showing up on the screen. It's spelled a little differently. People remember it after they spell it the first time, because the E is on the end of the first name and not in my last name. So you have an opportunity to misspell it twice or to get it right twice, but connect with me on LinkedIn. My website is empowerstrategist.com. So people can find me there as well. And I'm frequently out featured in articles that I've been privileged enough to be asked for comments as a subject matter expert. And so I'm trying to get that SEO ranking up there.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, now, with all that being said, we really appreciate the time that you've come and enjoyed and showed our audience, the story and the path that you've taken to becoming an entrepreneur and burning the ship. Now, do you know where the term burn the ship comes from?
Well, I might, but I'd like to hear your take on it, because I did my research when I was first months and months ago introduced to the team to find out. And since my nonprofit that I was with was Rising Tide, we're trying to Rising Tide lifts all boats, and now you're trying to burn them down. I thought I need to go research and see what this is.
Well, burn the ship comes from the term from, there was a Central American conquistador named Hernan Cortez. He came, which at the time he thought was Central Day America or modern day America, but it actually was modern day Mexico. He got to land. He told his crew to disassemble the ships, take everything that's on the ships, break them down, throw all the stuff on the beach, and let's burn it. And like, why would we do that? We can't go home. And he said, this is it. We're all in or nothing. We're burning the ships and we're staying here. And if we don't make it, we're going to die trying. And that's what we like to, replicate over with Burn the Ship, is to get people's story about how they went all in and they burnt the ship when starting their business. So we really appreciate your time. And what I like to do, and what a few of our hosts like to do, is we like to give our guests a last word. So if there's anything that you'd like to leave the audience, whether it be a tip of advice, whether anything that you have on your mind, just feel free. The floor is yours. And we really appreciate your time here.
Oh, well, thank you very much. All of us are trying to build a business and we lose focus. So I guess the biggest advice, because it's advice that I take, is doing the important things, not just the necessary things. I might be able to find somebody to do those, but I have to be selective and pick and choose the best things I can do to move my business forward and to differentiate myself. A lot of people don't understand, even in a local market, how do I go about doing that? And it's not about what makes me different. It's about what makes me different that my clients need. So it's putting myself always in the eye of my client, what pain I'm trying to solve for them, how I uniquely do it that gives them a better solution than what other people might do. It's a daily struggle, always in a business, to get new clients, to go out and get yourself out there, such as things like this, which I so greatly appreciate. But the fact of the matter is, if we don't listen to clients, if we don't have a solution after we've listened to them and determined we have the best solution for them,
Absolutely.
if we don't position it the right way, then we can never be as successful as our goal would be. So.
Absolutely. Now, once again, thank you so much for coming on Burn the Ship. We greatly appreciate it. We will be making sure to post all of your LinkedIn, all of the sites and socials down in the description for all of our guests to check out. So if you guys have anything you'd like to ask or reach out to Cheryle, maybe some consulting, some kind of business, all of her information will be in the description. And we really appreciate your time, and burn the ship.